Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the episode of Todd in the Car. So I want to talk today about something kind of interesting. So I do a lot of work in lead gen, obviously, and automation, and how to set up automated follow-ups and all those different things. But one thing a lot of people ask me when they're trying to get to a specific goal marker in their business is, how do we allocate human capital the right way? And what that means is, if we've got a sales team, or if we've got an operational force, or a fulfillment center, whatever the case is, how do we take that level of human labor might not be the most attractive word for it, but how do we take that level of human work and sort of apportion it effectively so that we're maximizing the amount of money that comes in, minimizing the amount of money that goes out? So one of the things that I think is really important is group marketing in Facebook for a sales team. So for a sales team, it's often difficult to understand where should we be pointing the sales team. If we're home renovation specialists or solar, like, should we really be outdoor knocking? Is that the best return per hour? Sometimes not. So what I tell people is, if you've got an effective digital strategy going, where let's say you've got a very good funnel, let's say you've got something like a viral giveaway, or you're utilizing the hidden opt-in method with a chatbot, whatever you're doing, if that's working well, and it should be, that's one of the first things I say to refine, is make sure digital presence is on point and converting well before you go and try to send people to it, right? But if that's working, I like to tell people that if you want to break down, if you want to stick with door knocking as something that brings in leads, don't send your whole sales force out to door knock or cold call, whatever the case is. Keep it I like to say 30 to 70. So keep 30% of your workforce doing what it does profitably while you're making, any kind of a big move, or even hire accordingly, so that original 10 guys that were working are now 30 people total, and the other 20 people who you brought on board are handling sort of a social media marketing method. One thing we found with some of our clients that do high-end, high-scale work, so high volume, a lot of business, they sort of have all their systems on point, is that they like to have their social media guys sort of go after groups, right? And local groups, I think, are this hidden gem that not everyone's really utilizing for some reason. They certainly are. I mean, you see people, doing it the wrong way. Y'all have seen the spam that people post in groups, and you're probably not a huge fan of it because it's done poorly. But if it's done effectively, and if it's done kind of in conjunction with other sales and marketing methods that we teach here, it can actually be very lucrative. So one thing that I like to say is, procedurally, it's probably the best way to go through it step by step, is you write up a post, or have your copywriter or your funnel builder, or whoever you're using, write up a post that sort of entices the average person sitting in, for example, in my market, San Diego buzz, San Diego talk, Temecula talk, whatever the case is, and sort of incentivizes them and qualifies them using the copy, right? And one thing I like doing, I got this from Matt Smith, and I think that this is actually a really effective model in the way he does it with his offers. He puts out there, like a call out, like homeowners, right? Real estate agents, mortgage people. Are you looking to do this without this? So for roofing, for example, roofers, do you need your roof replaced and don't want to deal with 1,000 salespeople knocking at your door? Solar, do you want to save hundreds of dollars a month on your electricity without having to, put a second mortgage on your house? If you have a product for real estate agents, realtors, do you want more good leads without having to chase down bad ones? Really simple, basic psychology stuff. And doing it in this way, I think, is really effective because you write it out this way, and then you've got a call to action. So that's the headline, and then you have sort of like a meat of you have kind of what I call the sub headline, or the meat of the post, where it's something like and I'll go after roofers again. Homeowners in Temecula are able to replace their roof after the recent storm at little to no cost to them, using financing or using insurance with 0% down, something like that. If that's a real offer. If it's not, don't say it. You don't want to be misleading. And so you put that out there, and say, if you are interested in X without Y, restate that goal twice. First in the beginning, secondarily after the meat of the offer. If you're interested in X without Y, please visit our site at www.temecularoofswhatever.com and fill out the short form, and one of our representatives will reach out with you and schedule a free estimate. Okay, so the bribe is at the end. So, you kind of say, for a free estimate, go to this website and do this. For a free trial, go here and do this. If it's business financing, for a free consultation on your financing options, go here and do this. And kind of copy that out. And then the strategy here is you post that with a link to your post, and you have all your sales guys in whatever territory you're in. Each person handles one group. One thing you don't want to do, and what's actually a huge mistake most people make, is that they'll spam 9 groups at one time, thinking that they'll get more business that way. And sometimes if it's like a necessary thing, like roofing after a storm, that's probably okay. It's still not recommended. But if you play it strategically, so if you game it, there's 10 groups that you want to go after, 10 local groups, and there's 5 days a week, and you've got 10 guys working on this thing. You have each person post at a certain time, at a certain one person, 2 people per group kind of a thing, posting at a certain time, and have minor variations of the post. So it's not like it's being spam. Like if you're going to use emojis, don't use the same emojis. If you're going to use, all caps for the headline, don't do that for the other one. If you're going to be, calling them out like homeowners, and then this, don't do that for the second one. Do it like, homeowners in this area are able to, generate this. And so just kind of switch it up a little bit for each post. So have maybe like 4 or 5 variants of that post those. And then, for anyone who responds, you're going to want to go and obviously market to them individually and work on the sales process there. There's also, a way that you can utilize these groups to ask questions with polling. And I'll talk about that in a future video. But if you've got, for example, this, in one case you're just posting something, in the other case you're running a poll, which you can run a poll inside groups. I want to ask questions and get people to respond to it. Choose one of these options. Post your link there too, because you're kind of asking something for an opinion, and you're putting your link there as a solution. So homeowners, what is the biggest challenge you found in replacing your roof? Is it financing that's not really available? Is it the insurance has an issue approving it? Is it that you have annoying roofers? Ask these questions, but then also post your link there, and anybody who responds to the poll, reach out to them, add them as friends on Facebook, and be very cordial and very polite. Thank you so much for replying to me, or whatever the case is. Do these things, and then from there, you'll kind of have this basis of adding them to that friends list, so that kind of specific segmented list I talked about in the previous video. Add them to that, and then post things conducive strictly to them. It's a really powerful strategy. I think it's going to be really exciting. So just to break down again, if your sales team is wondering, what do I do to get more business, which they often are, what I recommend is you have some of them do the stuff that's already working. Don't stop doing what's getting you paid. If you're going to try something new, train these people to post at a certain time, at a certain, in a certain group, and have that be kind of like their assignment, their farm. And, if you want to write the post for them, if you want to have a copywriter do it, or your funnel build, whoever the case is, and push them through to your digital ecosystem to convert them. And then do it in a few different ways, like, polls or recommendations, or, just simply posting it and kind of like a Merchant Monday type of thing. This is hugely powerful, guys. I hope this is helpful, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Todd in the Car.